Greetings everybody, hola, bonjour, tudubain, konnichiwa, sakafet, mauni, hotep, ashe, rahaba, salam alaikum, haribo, whatever language you speak, whatever religion you come from. Greetings my brothers and sisters to our show, Solutionary TV Network, and I am your host, Seven, and I'm with my sister Fire. How you doing, Fire?
I'm good, man. I'm fantastic, Sister Seven.
Yeah. Well, welcome everyone. I wish everybody is well out there. Lots to report. Now, I want to start with what has happened to this show. We were supposed to put this show out 2 years ago, in fact. Now,
wow.
We've been working on this show for a couple of years, and I have had no end of sabotage, obstructions. Every time we've tried to kind of get it together, there is an adverse element or individual that comes in and sabotages the situation. Now, we attempted again to put the show out last year in around, was it October?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to run the shows that we did, just so that, because they're valid still, even though we filmed them last year, they're still valid. The discussions we had and what we brought to the table was valid. But what's happened this time is that the computer was hacked and sabotaged. The software was sabotaged, and when I actually was introduced to someone who is an IT specialist, particularly for hacking and that kind of thing. And you were with me, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. We were.
Yes, and basically, I'm going to show you on the screen what he said, but just to give you an overview before I run the footage, basically, as many of you know, I have been a targeted individual for the last 13 years now. I was initially targeted for my intellectual property in 2003 after going to a meeting, and ever since then I have had the same companies, in fact, it's the same people, even though I won the largest case of its kind, exposing this criminal cartel, who are, they're psychopaths. They're nothing short of psychopaths. These people are relentless. Even though I won my case in 2006, and I'll place the courtroom audios below so that anybody can hear that I won my case. I've never been paid. Fire was a witness to what happened to me. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, you know, I have been targeted, and what happens with the targeting is they basically they hijack your computers to steal, constantly steal whatever we do. It's constant. They will put bugging devices in your home. They will break into your home. They will literally break into your car, bug your car. Anything you're doing, basically, they will try to infiltrate it in some way or another. It's basically industrial espionage. What you have is psychopaths working in corporations who, if you are an innovator or a creative person or a pioneer of some sort, and just somebody who enjoys creation, they will literally, you know, they will hijack your whole life. And these people will actually kill people just to obtain and steal our creative ideas, intellectual property, whether it be music ideas, ideas for new movie scripts, ideas for songs, ideas for, doesn't matter what you're doing. And once they've been successful at hijacking and stealing your intellectual property, they never leave you alone. Unless you expose these people, they never leave you alone. And that is what's happened to me. And that is what the whole SEVENGATE situation is all about. Now, for any of you that have seen the intro, you will see that we have flagged up these people because they have made my life a living hell. Currently, apart from hacking on the computers, I have scaffolding that's been left on my building now for 4 months, since January of this year. I have a device put on the outside of my door to so that these people can enter into the premises whenever they feel like. It's a dangerous situation, and the reason why I want this to be out there is because if you're a creative individual and you have creative children, I mean, for us melanated people, we are naturally, isn't it? We're naturally creative people. We're naturally musical. We're all, you know, we love to create, make clothes. It's, you know, it's just part of our culture. You know, we are innovators. You know, we are inventors. We are pioneers. And when you are like that, if you are talented in any shape or form, these people will come after you. So this is not just to expose what has happened to me and bring these people out in the spotlight, but also it's a word of warning for anybody looking to go into the entertainment industry or the music industry. If you're a parent of a gifted child, you need to understand that these people they're evil beyond. You're talking about extremely, extremely dangerous, sick human beings who stop at nothing to steal your child's creativity, your creativity, in order to obtain copyrights and the publishing rights, because we're talking millions, billions, and even trillions. You know, it's a lot of money. The whole intellectual property market is massive. And this is why organised IP crime is so massive. So the reason we haven't put our show out for so long is because I am a targeted individual of organised IP crime. So hacking is very much part of it. And I'm going to run the footage now so that you can see exactly what that has been like for us.
The summary of Miss Seven's case is that her treaty has been sold to Endemol, Channel 4, BBC, ITV, NTL, Virgin, Celador, and lots of other companies. The programmes which are said to be infringements of copyright or have been based upon the confidential material contained in Miss Seven's treaty are, at least, the games, Strictly Come Dancing, Strictly Dance Fever, Dancing on Ice, You Are What You Eat, 10 Years Younger, Fit Farm, Fit Street, Britain on the Move, Fat Nation, Fat Chances, Make Me Beautiful, The War, In Her Shoes, Diet Doctors, and Cosmetic Surgery Live. Mr. Nicholas summarises at the bottom of the sentence that goes over the page of all these health and fitness, beauty and dance productions were sold. He goes on to make a point about when they were sold, 2003 through to 2005. My Lord, that appears to be the real core of Miss Seven's allegation. The way that Miss Seven has put her claim, even though as a matter of copyright law there may be always...
Well, there's no doubt there's a copyright. There is simply no doubt that there is a copyright. Each of the documents produced by Miss Seven is entitled to copyright.
I don't disagree with that.
The only question, so for us, were it a copyright case primarily, the question would be one of infringement. But it's better from purposes both of confidence and of contract to look at it as a matter of use rather than one of reproduction. That's the real difference. One of Miss Seven's complaints is that she, and indeed it's reiterated in that paragraph in Mr. Nicholas's letter, which you rely on. They treated Charlie like a golden goose, then came back to steal more material to sell. While this madness was going on, they sold her name to create a pop band to publicly rub her face in it. And these greedy evil vultures hacked her computers. Do you have anything you wish to say about that? I thought what you were going to say, actually, was that Miss Seven's all work which she's done is on the very high end of the degree of competence, so far as the preparation of written documents are concerned, that I have ever seen from a litigant in person. I think that's probably right. I mean, these are far and away the best prepared documents which I think I have ever seen from a litigant in person. At a particular level of truth, I cannot doubt what Miss Seven says. I cannot doubt that she spent, on the material available to me, that she spent 3 months, in her house for the reasons stated in the letter. I don't really want to go into it any further than that. Mr. Nicholson, you can try if you like, but there won't be an awful lot of patience. So I think, to be quite frank with you, I mean, the answer whether the failure was intentional must be resolved in favour of Miss Seven. This case is about I'd have thought a year away from trial.
Pardon me?
This case is about a year away from trial. Would be my immediate reaction.
If you allow this case now to proceed, it will result in, particularly if we're heading more towards trial and summary judgment from matters that your Lordship has already said, it will result in hundreds of thousands of pounds of irrecoverable expense. It will result in a very long trial, if these 3 days are anything to be indicative of. It will result in a large number of very respectable witnesses being brought to give live evidence, who will be cross-examined by Miss Seven. And we have seen, in extent, what Miss Seven thinks of these witnesses as individuals, and the allegations which she has prepared to bring.
You must understand. I mean, this is all very well, but if the action has a foundation which should not be struck out, all that becomes irrelevant, because it is an action with certain unhappy consequences for the participants. But there it is. It is not strikable. The fact that you have got a whole lot of people who don't want to lose is irrelevant.
It's pointless balancing the interest of justice.
Yes, of course. But what I'm interested in the cases where it does have a prospect of success. If this case is tried, it's a triable action. And to say, but I'm going to kill it stone dead because it's not all that triable and you've been very badly in breach on this occasion, the result of it is to dismiss without consideration of the merits of a large and important action. That is a wrong exercise of discretion. Has Mr. Hanna ever had any solicitors?
He's never been involved, neither has Mr. Vaughan. They've not taken part in these proceedings whatsoever.
I'm afraid what you will do is you will find out what his address is and use that as his address for service in future.
In terms of, the fact that he's not participated,
You can apply for judgment in default against him.
Okay guys, I'm actually outside my house and I just want to show you guys something. This is where they actually did this is where the false flag is. As you can see, it's directly facing, my windows are up here, but I just want to show you. And look at the vans that are there doing the work. It says 777 demolition. How funny. Classic. Have a look at that. And this is where the false flag took place. There was a surveillance operation for the last 10 years filming inside my property. My windows face here, up here on this side, and if we swing across the road you will see this is where the false flag was. It's all scaffolding up. At the time my flat had the scaffolding on, now the scaffolding is on this building. It was on Channel 4 News because it took 120 firefighters to put out the fire, and it was on one floor, and the floor in question is the one just before the top, and they had a whole 24-hour surveillance operation going on, filming with the military and a whole lot of other police or whatever they were, covert officers filming inside my building. And as everybody knows, I am exposing who really perpetrated 7/7, and this is the reason for the surveillance operation outside my house. So this is where it was held. Today is actually I think it's the 6th of March 2014, so we're filming just over a year later, and you can see how bad this was, hence the scale of the scaffolding that's here. And as I said, it burnt from dawn to dusk, and it was just the one floor where the surveillance operation was taking place. And 125 fighters were in the heart of central London, just near Hyde Park, Lancaster Gate, and this whole area was shut off. It was so big that they actually had it on Channel 4 News, so if you Google that, you'll see that. But the question to ask is, why would they have a surveillance operation opposite my flat, where my windows, if I cross over the road here, and I give you the view from the other side of the street so that you can see my windows, because there's an agent called Mark Windows who's been trying to say that I didn't live anywhere near it. So I just want to show you the view from across the street. This is inside, this is the front door, and this was a fully operative hotel, supposedly, where they held this surveillance operation. We swing across the road, you'll see my windows, which is just up here. So these are my windows up here, facing the building, and it's the floor that directly faces my windows. As you will see in the Farrell report, Tony Farrell was being filmed while he was writing the report. That's where they were surveillancing through, and they used to make the cameras visible. So I'm just showing you, and then this is how close it is. So my windows are just here, and my entrance to my front door, I'm going to take you to it right now. We're across the street. There's a guy outside here. This is my front door, so that's how close it is. Okay.
When the end came for former BBC Director General George Entwistle, 54 days in the corporation's top job had clearly not prepared him for being the news and not just making it. Suggestions of a paedophile ring inside the BBC as part of the Jimmy Savile abuse claims, botched investigations and lapsed journalistic standards had made his position simply untenable. BBC Trust Chairman Chris Patton was in full damage control mode.
If you're saying, does the BBC need a thorough, structural, radical overhaul, then absolutely it does.
Okay, I'm just showing you what happens every time I have tried to make a video. As some of you know, I'm trying to launch my own show and I'm being attacked severely, and my computers are all being attacked. I actually made a video which should have screened before this one, which showed that there was 705 attacks on my computer to shut my machine down. Now this is a crash log, and if you have a look at what it says, it basically says last execution of the program caused error, important information about this error is written. Anyway, so basically I'm going to close that and I'm going to try to open up my program, and let's see what happens when I try to launch my show. So this is now how it's trying to launch it. Okay, so it's saying that the files are not found even though the files are in there. And also if you look, usually you'll see a screen where there's a screen where you would watch your video. You'd have the place where you import files. Then you'd also have the timeline. But instead I've got a whole new configuration which is basically a massive timeline. And this is the timeline. Now anybody who edits videos, you'll know that this is not right, okay? And that's part of the hijacking that has happened. So okay, I'm going to try to, it's saying that it's not, so I'm going to just try to skip this function just so that I can show you what happens. Okay, so that's the video which is basically on the timeline. There's now no viewer window that comes up anymore. So let me see if I can get a viewer window so that you can monitor. So usually the screen is configured where the monitor would automatically come up here, but instead it's now floating. Look at this, and you can see me. There's an edited version of my show. So let's see what happens when I try to play this. Watch this. And this gives you an idea of what happens to targeted people like myself, to stop us making videos, to stop us having any output whatsoever. As some of you know, I've even got scaffolding on my building now. You know, I've had all kinds of crazy, mad things going on where I am, just to stop me being able to get anything done at all. So let me just play the video and see if it will play. I've hit play. Check this now. So now, as soon as you try to play the video, it says error, access violation. Can you see that? This is the kind of attacks that they do to us targeted individual to stop me being able to launch my program, to launch my new show. And this has been going on. I've been trying to launch this show for a long time now, and every single computer I get gets attacked in exactly the same way. And I just want you to see it firsthand, because when I tell people that I'm being attacked and my machines are being attacked, they don't understand. They don't have a clue, but this is what that looks like. So I'm just reporting an update of SEVENGATE for all the people who have been supporting me and all the people who have been you know, waiting for the show to be released. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. So by the grace of God, this show will be released, and you know, they can only delay, they'll never stop the time. So so this is basically a report on SEVENGATE, an update for anybody who wants to know. And today, this has been going on since 2000, and this section, because they did it to me all last year as well. So basically I tried to launch this let's say October 2015. We're now the 2nd of February 2016. No, it's not the 2nd, sorry, it's the 10th of February. Today, you can have a look at the date. Should be down there. You can see the date, 2016, and this is still going on. This is what's happening to block me actually launching my new show, Solutionary TV Network. And so this is Seven signing out for now. I'll keep you posted. Please look out for the other videos on the scaffolding that's just been put up on my building. No notification of anybody doing any works. Just scaffolding, no name of any scaffolding company. You just wake up and hear scaffolding is being put up on your window. It's the 3rd time it's been done, and it's very sinister, and it's all part of the SEVENGATE cover-up, and it is a massive cover-up because they owe me billions and billions of pounds, and this is what they do to stop us getting justice. I've won the largest ever organised IP crime case on public record, and to stop me getting paid, to stop people knowing about it, this is how they sabotage us victims. This is how they sabotage people who have won cases in the UK. This is what the British system does to people of colour. This is what this system does to victims, to violate our rights and to stop us getting our due rights in this land. So I want everybody to know, my name is Seven, as everybody who has been following SEVENGATE knows. Please look out for the other SEVENGATE videos, which documents my journey up until now, as particularly you can look at the Farrell report, or you can look at the video series with Alfred Weber on his YouTube channel. You just type in SEVENGATE Alfred Weber and you'll see it's we've done about 10 videos. There's about 10 parts of the series now, and my show should launch soon. Let's see if it moves out of the way. You can see the first screen of my show. There's me doing, it's a series of interviews. I've done loads of brilliant interviews and everything, which will launch, but this is what they're doing to try to block it. Okay, so please make this viral. Let people know about SEVENGATE. These are the people behind all the false flag terrorism that's going on. 7/7, Charlie Hebdo. These are the criminals that are behind it, and that's why they don't want me to launch my show. Okay? Blessings. Take care, people. Okay, people, I'm now in the internet. No, not in the internet. I'm actually with a wonderful man who is looking at my machine. And as some of you know, I've been experiencing hacking for some time now. And basically, he's just done a malware, and he's found to be 705 threats on my machine. Look at all this. All this
and basically
is programs. So now you're going to explain to me what they are. Can you just explain?
Basically, you have external applications that runs into a remote location, right, that means that it's not in your network or in your computer, and these programs align themselves into your IP, your gateway network infrastructure from your router, and they log into these softwares on your computer to basically steal files, steal system information, and
right, exactly.
So those are keyloggers. Those are hackable programs.
Can you show us which ones they are?
This one, when it runs on x86, when it has a bunch of names here, which is not identifiable by any source. Okay. Those are hackable.
And show me the other one.
Any ones that you find with the zeros are hackable.
Okay.
Hackable because they go through a website, which this website uses their own infrastructure to hack into the program from the IP source.
Okay.
And then they go.
Can you go back to the one where you showed me it said PEEP?
Oh, PEEP is up here. expert, adapter, safeguard, marble. Basically, they lie to you by telling you names. See peep.
Yeah.
See peep.net. See.
Yeah.
But
so that is basically people that are spying inside your machine to steal whatever they can steal.
There's a software that peeps into your system and sees what you got and see what you do and steal your files.
Because you know what happens? They get into the machine and give you 2 days.
You have loads of. They have software loggers. Software exploits, they exploit your computer. You have everything there.
Yeah, you know what I see? Sometimes I'm working on something and the next thing I know I see it on billboards.
It goes crazy, yeah. Your computer starts opening things.
No, I see my work on billboards.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
I see it on TV.
Now the only way...
And the timing of it is exactly when the computer gets hacked.
I'm going to remove them.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let's just see. Let's get the date.
Oh,
so that dates. Anybody, let's see the date. The date here that we're looking at.
Oh yeah, 15th
of
January.
1st of January. So this shows, by the scale of this, you can see this has been going on a long time, isn't it?
From at least a few months. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically.
When is the last time you had your service on your computer?
I had it serviced last year.
Oh, so
in fact, I bought it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and within no time it was hacked again. And so I'm just showing you what goes on with me, because people don't realize how bad it gets. And for people that are targeted like myself for their intellectual property, this is what we live with. People don't believe that it's going on until you actually see it for yourself. Yeah, they steal from us. It's called industrial espionage.
Yeah.
They come into the machine and they steal what you have.
Microsoft, it's a big target of this.
No, Microsoft are involved in doing it.
I know, but they are a big target as well. They target many companies.
Yeah, they target individuals, they target companies. Anybody who has new, fresh ideas that they can exploit on the marketplace. If you're a fashion designer and you make quirky new clothes, trust me, your life is going to be made a misery. So anyway, that's one machine. This is another machine we're just going through now, because I had the same problem. In fact, I've fallen out with people because of this, because I made a video for some friends and I told them the machine is being attacked and they didn't believe me. You know, they didn't believe that it was being attacked. They thought I was deliberately not showing the video that I made. And I said, I'm being attacked. The machine is being attacked. This machine here, they actually removed the whole operating system. And I only had the machine for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was a brand new machine. Nothing was in there. And they already started hacking as soon as I started making a video. I was like, wow, man, I wasn't even online. So anyway, so I'm signing off. This is 7 and I'm basically in London, and I'm just showing you the madness that I go through with my machines. Okay, I'm making another video of another machine on one of my computers, another computer that I use, to show you that has also been attacked. And if you look at the threats, 2,989, and if you look at these, like the other computer which I showed you, you'll see that the programs on here are all to hack and steal and destroy data. And this has been going on with me since I've been targeted. Literally every single computer that I buy, it doesn't take a lot of time before I find that the computer is completely destroyed and hacked by an external source remotely. So I just wanted to give you an idea I'll scroll down so that you can actually see it better. Let me try to zoom out perhaps. You can see that hopefully clearly. And this scan has just been completed today. And today's date is February the 13th. I believe it's February the 13th. I want to just scroll down and give you a look at some of these threats. Oops. So that you could see. What was that? I don't know. Anyway. Sorry. Look, there's this one here. Some of you hackers might be able to look at these codes and numbers and trace the source. Because these people that are hacking me, they're not just criminals. These are criminals that are behind a lot of the terrorist operations, the targeting operations of innocent people. They're running slavery operations against innocent people. These are some nasty, vile, disgusting people, you know. I mean, I call them people for want of a better word. But if you just look at some of these, you might be able to, there might be a hacker out there who can trace these and trace the root of where these are coming from. Okay, let's just pull a few more down so that you can actually see the different types of programs that there are. And this is why whatever I'm doing, whatever the theme is of what I'm doing, you will see it in the public domain. You know, if I'm working on a new concept, I'll start seeing it emerge on billboards with other artists, either dressed in the same way, you know, using the same themes, the same concepts as what I'm doing, but they give it to one of their Illuminati artists to push it so that my concept, or, you know, is out before I put it out. So have a look at this. Fraud tool, fraud tool, fraud tool, fraud tool, fraud tool, fraud tool, fraud tool. Okay, so you can see for yourself what kind of attack that I'm getting. These are all programs that are designed to steal. They look for my ideas, whatever work I'm doing. This is how my work was stolen and given to David Beckham for his 7 concept. Blatantly. Absolutely blatantly. And in that situation, fortunately, I had emailed lots of people with the information about the project that I was about to launch, so that when it emerged on the mainstream, it would be obvious to everybody, and there would be many witnesses to see exactly where it comes from. Okay, so, but what you can see, fraud tool, fraud tool. So you can actually see, this is the scan that I actually just carried out on this next computer. And you see, this is how organised IP crime is carried out. I mean, these are thousands. This is not just, this is hundreds. This is not a few. This is hundreds. And you remove these ones and they'll be back in. This is what they do. And they make money on your ingenuity, on your concepts, on your labor. It's a slave trade. This is a slave trade. I mean, if you consider all the musicians and all the artists and all the writers and all the authors, can you imagine if all of them found that their books were just taken this way, that their songs were being taken this way, that whatever they come up with, you know, inventors. That's why we have such a thing as patent office, etc. Even though that's a completely corrupt place. In this day and age, sadly, you can't go to the patent office to protect our work as creative people, because they steal from us in that way too. But this is thousands. Look at it. Anyone who tells you the SEVENGATE case is a lie, you know they're on the payroll. Anybody who prints out that the SEVENGATE case is a lie, those people are on the payroll. Look at that, Next Tech. These are companies that basically hack into people that are like myself, are creative people, looking for new concepts to put on the market. And because they know that people like me, we are ideas people, and we make our living by inventing and pioneering new concepts. So what happens is these corrupt terrorist organizations, they hack into your computers, steal your work, and pass it off as somebody else's work, while they hack and surveillance you, send you death threats to try to keep you quiet. And when you win your case against them, when you actually can prove it, like I can prove it right now, because all of these files are traceable. For anybody that's a hacker, they can actually find out the source. And I guarantee you, if we look into the source of who is doing this, you'll find it's the same people. The exact same people that stole my intellectual property in 2003. Here we are, it's 2016, and they're doing the same thing. But this time, it's not a case of me going to meetings with them anymore. Now they've put a whole operation in place in order to steal everything that I do. Everything. Everything that I do. Now, as many of you know, I've had, my parents have died in what has been informed to me were suspicious circumstances by various different people who were eyewitnesses. In both instances, my mother died on the 2nd of January 2014, and my father died in July of 2014. Neither of them, indicated that anything that was wrong with them to life-threatening proportions as far as I'm concerned. And both deaths came completely out of the blue. However, we don't know what actually happened. And I've had 2 friends die on the same day. This is what these organizations that are corrupt do to people. They destroy people's lives. They destroy people's lives in serious, serious ways. And this is why what I'm showing you is proof to show you that corrupt organizations are hacking my computers to continuously steal everything and anything that I create, to ensure that I remain in poverty, to show that justice and the billions that they owe me is never given to me. When you look at all those frauds, all of these hacking programs, every time they steal something, the thing that they steal, it sells for millions. They sell it around the world in mass racketeering operations. This is why what we're talking about is not just, you know, my work, which was stolen in 2003 and sold to over 126 countries. It has never stopped. It's 13 years later, and this has been continuous. This is why we're talking about trillions of pounds. We're not talking about a few millions of pounds. This is a whole operation where they put it and infect and infiltrate creative people like me's life, our whole life. They'll move into the neighborhood, they'll film you from above or across the road from where you live. They'll put vans, they'll follow you, they'll gang stalk you, all in order to steal intellectual property. This is what's going on. This is what's going on behind the scenes. Many people who are creative people who are being targeted, they don't know why they're being targeted. It's for your valuable intellectual property. This is just more proof to show you. Fortunately, this program, and I recommend that if you're a targeted person, you get this program or anything like it, and what you do, you regularly scan your machines. You know, many of my machines that are hacked, some of them are not even on the internet. You know, I have machines that are not on the internet and it's the same story. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the hacking is not being done by just anybody. It's being done on a very high level, and it's being done by cartels, criminal terrorist cartels that steal intellectual property in order to racketeer on the open market, because they look for new ideas where they can bring about new things. This is why it's all tech companies. Do you see that? Well, in fact, it's not just tech companies that are behind this. The main criminals, as I've shown you, if you look at the SEVENGATE list again, and I recommend you study that thoroughly, study the people, because we have to bring these people to justice. This is not just being done to me, this is being done to millions of people all over the world by the same people. They have these operations going on to all people, and when we take them to court to try to stop them, they try to kill you. This is what these people do. They're psychopaths. They're sick, evil, wicked people, and these people need to be removed from the public. They're not, you know, they're not people that are reformable. These are not people that you can actually educate and reform. These are people that are entirely satanic and evil beyond what anybody can comprehend. You know, this is 13 years. I went to a meeting with a lawyer. 13 years later, this is still what is happening to me. Still. 2016, it's the 13th of February 2016, and this is what I'm dealing with. Still. And it's been consistent the whole time. And most people, because, you know, most people don't see this, so they don't have an idea what kind of nightmare that I'm living in. But now you know. So please spread the word, and I will continue to put some more evidence out in this presentation. Okay, thank you, people. Okay, so this is a photograph of a fuse box which was installed to the building that I stay with somebody because my flat constantly has scaffolding, or I get a lot of gang stalking when I'm at my own flat. And so I've been staying with somebody else. Now, what has happened since I launched the interview series with Alfred Weber on his channel, who I had the opportunity, divine opportunity, to share my case, the case that I won, and share the evidence of the case that I won, and also my courtroom audios in an interview series. I did an interview series with him which began in 2014, late 2014, not that long after I was trying to launch my own show, as I showed you. And we've done, I think it's about 10 episodes, or 10 different interviews. So if you go onto his channel, Alfred Weber, or Alfred Labermont Weber, and you go to YouTube, you can actually see the SEVENGATE interview series about my lawsuit, and I do like a Skyped detailed interview with him. So anybody who's a skeptic, or anybody who hasn't got a clue about what I'm talking about, please go on and see the magnitude of what I'm talking about is being done to me, and other innocent people by the cartel. Now I want to show you something. You can actually see this is a device that was put into the building that I'm staying in since I started the interview series with Alfred Weber. Now, usually, if you're a targeted individual and men show up to do works in your property where you're staying, you have to be very suspicious and you have to be on red alert, because quite often they will be people that are rogue, who have been paid by the criminals in the cartel to carry out works, i.e. either bugging of your property, surveillance of your property, that kind of thing, so that they can manipulate the inner workings of your life, if you like. And also, obviously, they have they're able to, quite often it's listening devices, etc., so that they can monitor your movements, your conversations with people. So they're not only hacking your computers, they're not only tapping your phones, they're also also obviously stealing your data, blocking you from making videos. They also put this kind of technology into the building. Now, prior to this, there was a little tiny fuse box, which is for a residential one-bedroom apartment. It's a small apartment, and it's not necessary to have this scale of fuses put into a property. Now, I had this actually looked at again by a professional, and I'll post that video alongside this one so that you can hear exactly what he said. Now, the first thing to, you won't be able to know this, but I'll just tell you that this casing, the size of this casing and the material of this casing is not used in residential properties. This is one thing he highlighted. It's metal. You do not put metal boxes into residential properties. Usually they are in commercial buildings. You would not have a fuse box this scale in a tiny one-bedroom property. Now, the first thing to pay attention to is, if we go in a little bit further, you'll see a row of fuses here. Can you see a row of fuses here? There are 7 of them. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interesting. Now, these 7 fuses are not connected to anything internally in this property. These are the fuses that are directly linked to, like, for instance, the sockets in the property, the cooker. These are the ones, and you can see the wires at the top. You can see the wires at the top. These are wired directly to the appliances in the property. There's a couple here as well. And this is the general on-off. In case anything goes off, you can actually switch this machine off manually. But these 7, this row of 7 here, it should look like this. If it was connected to anything in the property, you would see the wires that you're seeing here, along here, these blue and red wires. They're going directly into the fuses. You'll see on these ones, there are no fuses going into anything in this property. It's just blank. There's only one cord that goes up into almost behind this device. So there's possibility that they've put something behind this device. Now, what the man said that came to actually look at this, he said, number one, it's dodgy. It's extremely dodgy. You would not put a fuse box. I mean, the size of the other fuse box that we had before was the same size as like this. It was tiny, it was small, had a few fuses, or it might have been like this size actually, around this size. That was the entire fuse box. Now there's an industrial scale fuse box put into a tiny 1-bedroom flat. I mean, it's tiny. It's got a tiny bedroom, tiny hallway, tiny. There's nothing here to warrant something on this scale. As soon as the man that I brought, the electrician that I brought to look at this, saw this, he said, this is dodgy. He said it's quite possible that there are listening devices in here. Now, the other thing that took place is immediately after this was installed, we had white vans appear, like white transit vans. And this is what they usually use. They usually use white transit vans in targeting and surveillance operation against targeted individuals. What you will see is white transit vans now parked outside your building. All of a sudden, these vans appear from nowhere. So this went in to the building, and immediately after this went in, boom, came these transit vans. Now, in my other property, white transit vans were a feature for years outside of my property. Every single day, come rain or shine, there would be white transit vans outside of the property. Sometimes, even these days, they put white transit vans with 777 to make it absolutely blatant what they're doing. And I'm going to show you. Let's have a look at these vans. Some of these 777 vans. Some of you have actually already seen them, but just for anybody who hasn't, I'm going to go and show you that now. Just so. Okay, these are the guys that are running the cleanup of the surveillance operation, and I want you to see the big 777 on the vans and tell me if that's a coincidence. Check this out. 777. Check this out. Okay, I'm outside across the road from my house, and it is today 26th February, I believe the 9th today of 2016, and once again I now have scaffolding on my windows. You can see going up to the top. Now there's no name to actually identify who has put these scaffolding up, which is what you would normally expect. If someone put scaffolding on your building, you would have, the company would definitely have named who's ordered it. And once again, this is actually the third time this has happened, and it shows that it's pure criminality. It's been there for a week. There's nobody doing any works. Let me just come in a bit so that you can see it closer. There's my window. Where I'm focused on here is my window. And again, this is part of the targeting, I believe. I mean, who just comes and puts scaffolding on somebody's building? No notification, no letter of any works, and in fact no works being done whatsoever. Now I'm going to swing across the road here so you can see where they did the false flag. So that's my windows here, that's my building here, and I'm just going to swing the camera. I've just crossed over the road, and I'm going to swing around, and you can see where they did the false flag. And this is massive. I mean, it's very hard to film the whole site so that you can actually get an idea of how big the scale of this false flag was. They literally burnt this whole building down. There's 120 firefighters, and this is what it looks like now. Usually in the day they have vans which say 77. Up until a few days ago the vans were outside. Somebody phoned me up to tell me that they saw that the 77 vans were outside yet again. But this gives you an idea. I'm going to try and pull out a bit so that you can see it. In fact, what I'll do is I'll come a bit further down here so that you can actually see if you can see the scale of this. So that's one side. Go up again. And this is my building on the corner where you see my hand is here, where the bus, just here, this is where my building is. And you can see how close they did the false flag outside my house. And as everybody know, I have exposed that the people in my case, 7 versus Gossage and 9 others, who are part of an organised IP crime outfit, a gross criminal operation, they've done a false flag here as well, and the persecution of my life continues, because this is my building and we're now in 2016, and yet again I now have scaffolding put up on my windows out of the blue, no notification. There are children, women in this building besides me, and this is what we get. We don't get any letter, there's no firm, you can see that there's no company's name to say who has put this here. It's just basically scaffolding has just been left here. And if the other 2 times have anything to do with this, the last time that they did it in 2012, it stayed there for 2 years. No work whatsoever, just scaffolding just left on people's buildings, where criminals can come and go as they please and access and even murder people inside the building. This is what we're dealing with. Absolute mafia racket operation, and it's all connected to those criminals who are part of the cartel in SEVENGATE, which is the case that I won in 2006, between 2004 and 2006, called 7 versus Gossage and 9 others. And we're talking about criminals who are operating in mainstream media. We're talking about criminals who are operating in British law firms. To give you names, Russell's media law firm in London. There's Bindman and Partners. You've got Helen Alexander, Richard Hanna, Tamsin Allen of Bindman and Partners, Jeffrey Bindman. These people have to be named because they should have been in prison a long time ago. I won them in court, and because I won them in court years ago, they owe me billions upon billions of pounds. This is the type of thing that they do to try to intimidate. Well, thank you for the evidence, because this is going to go all around the internet. So stay tuned, everybody, and please keep watching my show, and I'll give you regular updates on the Solutionary TV network. Okay, people, I am outside the Genesis housing building, and I'm going to go into this housing office and ask them why there is scaffolding and no work's been put up on my building, and let's see what they know about it. Now, I had a conversation with somebody on the phone in Genesis yesterday, and I did mention it, and so they're probably expecting me. So let's see what happens, because what you have to realize is that there are insiders involved in the SEVENGATE. Now, Genesis has been dubbed genocide because that's how many people have died in their properties. Toxic abuse, toxic mold, criminal activities. It is a mafia cartel, and most people that work here are usually okay, actually, to be honest with you. The people that are on the bottom end, they're okay, but on the lower end, on the higher end, that's where the dodgy stuff is going on. So let's go in.
Did I speak to you recently?
Let me see your postcode, so maybe I can find out if I spoke to you. What's the postcode of your property?
So just let me establish who you are, Abdi. You are...
I work in the housing department.
Okay, and you are working to me. I don't know if you're going to be able to help me or whether I should continue to speak to somebody here.
I think it's best that you speak to Michelle.
Yes.
Because she's in the same level as Mark Waddell.
Okay.
Tell her I'm speaking to him now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm speaking to him now.
Okay. Right, now what's happened, Michelle, this is the third time scaffolding's been on the building. The second time we were burgled 6 times with the last scaffolding, and it stayed there for 2 years and there was no works being done whatsoever. And we got burgled, broken in, they kicked the door off, they didn't even move the wood. They left the wood to show that they'd broken in. All the windows, they were coming in the windows. I've got photographs of the men on the actual, I'm on the 3rd floor. And so I've got photographs of men with hoodies on my landing. They're not doing any work.
Well, they're not from the contractors.
That's what I know.
Miles?
That's what I know.
Hi, it's Michelle Gordon, neighbourhood manager.
No,
I'm trying to
don't
get a hold
speak
of
to
Mark
me.
Waddell. Yeah. Well, we tried to call his mobile number, but it went straight to voicemail. Oh, okay. Tanita. Right, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I just wondered if Mark had any idea what it was about, why it was there, because there wasn't any signage or anything on there, so we just wondered. That's fine. I will try and find, well, she's in the office, so I'll try and find out from Tanita what's going on and get any information that I can give her and just deal with it the best that I can, yeah? Okay. Yeah, number 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole building because it's everybody.
Bye.
Because I spoke to the
I
other
need to have a
members.
word with another department and then I'll come back.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Present, yes.
Yeah, it does. But it's still not mine.
Thank you. Did you go and call her for me? Thank you very much. The thing is that obviously we're living in a situation where safety is at risk.
That's right. It's starting,
you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be not cooperating or whatever. I'm just dealing with the fact that we have criminals, gangsters, cartels operating in that building around that area. And so when we have scaffolding with no notification just being put up on a building, obviously we have to establish who's put it there. Now, I've been a Genesis tenant for, I don't know, I mean a long time. Prior to these criminal gangs infiltrating where we live, we always got notification. If they were going to carry out any work on the building, they'd sometimes that's just the way it works as far as just protocol. Like normally they send you a letter like maybe 2-3 months before, and they'll say we're going to be painting or we're going to be doing the roof or whatever, and it's not a problem. They said if you've got any problems, let us know in advance. That's the normal way. That's procedure. To just wake up in the morning with scaffolding just put up on your building, nobody notifies you. You speak to all the other residents, they're scared. You've got people coming, you've got men climbing up on the scaffolding 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You know, that's a dangerous situation that we're living with. So obviously, if Genesis has not, because the last time when I spoke to Genesis, this is basically between 2012 and 2013. When I spoke to Genesis, I said there's scaffolding. This is why I film everything, because people don't believe. I came in here and I said to Genesis, there's scaffolding on my building. They said, no, there isn't. I said, there is. So at the time, I hadn't showed them the film of it. It was only when I came into the building again and I showed them photographs of the scaffolding on the building that they actually believed me. That's the reason why I showed you the film today. I said to you, there's scaffolding on my building. You need to have a look at it. Somebody's put it there. Now I know There is procedure. If you put scaffolding, you're.
They normally let the tenants know of where is involved.
Absolutely. Not only do they do that, what they also do, they usually have a placard with whose scaffolding company, because anybody, a child could fall.
Security as well within the scaffolding.
Absolutely. They should have security. They should have a mobile number, an office number. Who's put the scaffolding? There's nothing. It's just arrived there, and we are just supposed to live like that. Now, but judging by the last time, which it stayed there for 2 years. For 2 years. Scaffolding stayed there for 2 years. Even when the guys came to take it down, they said, "Oh my God, I remember this scaffolding. This has been here for 2 years." These Cockney guys.
They could have look for the people that put it in if they remember the scaffolding.
No, because they just get builders, don't they? They employ builders to come and put it up there. Obviously, this was not a contracted firm. This was some rogue firm. But what usually happens is that they will give the contract to somebody, or somebody will get the contract. That's when it's legitimate. And it will be just like it is for doing gas works or electrical works or any surveying works. It's usually Genesis contracted like to Mulverdeen and all these different companies to do the different things. Whereas the scaffolding, they're not contracted to anybody. These are just rogue guys. But it just so happened the same guys that put it up, they got the same guys to pull it down. And it was 2 years later, because somebody called me and said, they're pulling it down. So 2 years later, I go and I say to the guys, why has it been there? They said, I know, it's been 2 years. They said, wow,
really
this
strange.
is...
I mean, whoever's been managing that side, I mean, needs to look into it.
Yeah, and you know what's happened is that Genesis keeps changing their housing manager. That property has had different housing managers. There was one Paula, there's been so many names, Jackie, there was another. How long have you been here?
3 years.
3 years, okay.
I know in this building, I work all over, so
oh, okay.
This is my first week here. So.
Okay, so we had different housing managers. We've not had the same housing manager. So every time, with the last scaffolding, every time we actually tried to pin someone down to come and see us in the building about it, they would never show up. And I think it's because there's criminal things going on, and they discovered that there's something going on within the building, so they basically never showed up to actually talk to any of us. We sat in the house waiting for these people. Now the thing is, my neighbour, she's having her flat broken into. She had somebody break into her flat. They got dirt and they wrote on her daughter's bedroom wall in dirt, writing on the wall. You could see where they crowbarred the door in. You know, I mean, it's so sinister. This is a woman with a child. Can you imagine? You're living in your house.
But if you haven't reported to
no,
the
that's been we've reported it to the police.
But you just said that you didn't.
No, that situation, that's been reported, because there's many situations. Now, I've reported the situation for the scaffolding to the police numerous times. But what they say is that you have to establish with Genesis who has put the scaffolding up. Now, the last time, Genesis told me that they didn't have any record. When they looked on the computer, they said, there's no scaffolding on your building. I said, there is. Yeah. They said, no, it's only...
And now you're saying it's been a week.
Yes. Yeah, and there's nothing on the scaffolding to say that you can ring somebody to say, okay, can you tell us who's ordered this scaffolding? Right. What work is being done?
And you said they haven't reported to the police yet?
No, we've already spoken to police.
Criminal activity
in the building. Yes, I've spoken.
And all that stuff. So yeah, I just.
Yes, you see, the thing is, the police, because I'm going from what they said last time. When it comes to anything like this, there's a procedure. So what they would want us to first of all to speak to Genesis and establish whether Genesis put it there. And if so, which was the department, etc., etc. So the police want us to do that first. If Genesis say, no, we didn't put it there, then obviously there's grounds for criminal investigation to kick off again. Because this is the third one.
They just want to find out with the right department.
Okay.
Why they actually got the scaffolding
Yeah.
in your place.
Yeah, but who put it there?
That's why they wanted to find out
Yeah.
if they put it there and why.
Yeah, because if they put it there, there must be some works being scheduled to happen.
Probably.
So if there's going to be works, why don't they show what works? Why is there no men there? There's nobody there. It's just scaffolding. And the thing is, because it's happened twice, and each time it happens, there's burglaries. It goes like in concession. So the scaffolding goes up, boom, the houses start to get broken into at the same time. So obviously it's a criminal situation that we're dealing with. So, I mean, obviously I know it's a criminal situation because we've been living with it for some time, but obviously I have to speak to new people here now because none of the people that I spoke to dealing with it last time are here now, it seems. It seems like they're all different people. Because if you've been here 3 years, the first time it happened was 2011.
If I wouldn't know, because I said I'm not involved within the Genesis case, I'm just doing the building. So the Genesis building, I know the tenants, staff.
Okay, but then so you know protocol. You would know that if you're going to do something in the building, any scheduled works, you would notify the residents. There's elderly people there. There's children there. How can you have scaffolding on people's windows where somebody can just come into somebody's house with ease?
That's right. As I said, I mean, I wouldn't know or I wouldn't have the answer until they find out.
Mm. Well, let's hope that there's going to be some resolution because this is the problem here. We have a problem with safety. I'm concerned about the people's safety. That's the whole thing. I'm not trying to be funny with anybody here. I'm just concerned. It's a dangerous situation. People can get killed. And I don't want a situation where we have a tragedy on our hands. Somebody can climb up, children can climb up and fall from it. There's nothing to, the whole safety situation is completely been ignored. There's no health and safety in this situation whatsoever. No concern for anybody else at all as well.
So the police going to find out.
Right.
About the stuff.
Well, thank you anyway. I've got a car outside. I'm just wondering if I should just go. Do you know how long they will take?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So do they still have, because there was some dodgy people working on the asset management, do you know, is that still exist?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
When you say dodgy, I mean, I wouldn't know. Probably you know it, or just for you.
Yeah, somebody's coming now.
Right, okay, the person you need to speak to, I'm going to give you his email address.
Okay.
I'm in the office now, but John Hemmings is the person you need to speak to.
Okay, John Hemmings.
So if you email him and just explain the reason why you're emailing him is because you have concerns, you may not have been notified in writing, and everybody needs to know why the scaffolding up. These are the issues that you've had.
Yes. Because we did actually do a complaint, but it was never dealt with.
Hopefully he will respond back to you.
Okay.
And tell you, give you some form of explanation. If
Is he got a phone number? Does he have a phone number?
No, that's the email address. The phone number would be just the 0333,000 that just ran home.
Oh, right, okay.
So email him directly, and hopefully we'll come back with a response.
Yeah.
Who made the complaint? Was it you or the whole building?
The whole building, yes.
Right, and then if that's the case, you can do it again via the complaints.
Okay, but that was never responded to, that's the thing. They
Well,
never responded.
did they send it to anyone in particular and the other person hasn't
No,
told
we
you?
sent it to Genesis and we also sent it to the directors, we sent it to everybody because we were getting our houses broken into on a regular
The only other thing that you can do is you can involve the safety local team in your area.
Okay.
They like secondary to police.
And because it's been a criminal situation.
Then you call the police. The police should have been involved if it's been broken into.
Yeah, of course. We've contacted the police, but this is the third time it's happening.
Yeah, you continue contacting them every time there's an issue regarding safety and security. You just go onto their website, you put that into the Google search engine.
Okay, and so it will bring up the person that I need to deal with.
Postcode, and then it will bring up the team in that area that deals with that area. All right?
Okay, I might have spoken to them last time actually.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, people, I've just come outside the Genesis building. They didn't allow me to film the discussion, but there was a woman that was quite helpful, Michelle, who basically doesn't know what the scaffolding is, who it is, but it's given me a name to chase it up and has told me to contact the police, which we will do. I mean, it's a rigmarole. We go round and round and round and round in circles the whole time. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so this is the SEVENGATE report update. Today's date is the 10th of February 2016. And we're dealing with scaffolding bullshit once again. And this one, there's nothing inside this bit which should come out. Usually there was like a gold bit in there that goes into the other side of the door here, but there's nothing there now. No matter what you do, it's actually been removed. When I film inside it, you can see. Let me put the light towards it, you'll see better. Whoops. Let me put the light, you can see. The gold bit is gone. Whoops. Sorry about this dodgy filming, but trying to show you the barrel is completely empty now. It's like, where's it gone? Okay people, just check out the numbers. This thing. They've put this thing in. I don't know if you can see it. It's out of focus at the moment. Let me see if I can get a focus. But if you look, it says 0777. So this thing that they've put outside the door, which we're trying to identify what it is, it's just above the bells. So where people get access, the buzzers. And check this out. Just trying to get focus, because the focus is actually takes a long time on this camera. So, but you can see it now, right? 0777. Is that a coincidence? Of course it's not. It just shows you that this thing is part of a terror operation to terrorize us in this building. Just see, they've got the scaffolding companies. There's only a little bit of it left. Today's date is the 29th of April and it's 2016. And this scaffolding was up since, this scaffolding has been up for at least 2 years. Because the fire was on the 27th of February 2013, where they burnt this building down. And now you will see they've put scaffolding, as I've been reporting, outside my window, and as you can see, it's like 12 o'clock or something. There's workmen here, but there's no workmen up on my... They just left the scaffolding as part of the terror campaign. They have no intentions of carrying out any work. The only time they will bring somebody here is when we make a lot of noise and we report it and we expose what's going on. Then they'll send a few men to sit there while people are watching. As soon as eyes come off the situation, it goes back to this again. This is 4 months of this nonsense. So just want to film from this side. So again, you can see no men working. Daytime hours, every day, no men working. You can see the men are working on this side of the road. They're working inside the building. If you look as well, you can see there's work going on inside the building. But again, nothing is going on here. Now, if I look at all the other doors, I'm going to just show you so that you can have a look and see nobody else has it. just like most things. Nobody else has it. That's another bell, right? That's another number set. It doesn't exist on either side of the walls. I'm just showing you for this report, for, you know, you might think, oh, these things are on everybody's doors. They're not. This one doesn't have anything. It's just got one bell. There's nothing there. So why have they put a box just on my door? This is the question. Okay, there's two bells here. Okay, there's an intercom. Okay, but there's no black box with 777 on it. I just want to demonstrate for people who might not understand what's going on in this country. Again, there's nothing on either side of the wall, just so that you can see for yourself the nonsense that we are having to deal with, that I am having to deal with, you know, with the sick evilness going on in this country. Nobody else has it. So the question is, let's walk back to the door. The question is, why have they put this black box with 777 dialed on it on my door from out of the blue, no notification of any written word of anything, no contact via phone to any of the residents at all as to that they're going to be putting something on the door or anything like that. And that dial is to let people know that they've put it there, because they're all about psychological terror. They're all about, ha 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 ha, we're terrorists, we can do what we like, we blow things up. This could be connected to anything. We don't know what it's connected to. And it's actually on the door where residents, women, and children are living. This is what is going on in this country. And it's all being allowed to continue. And this is why the SEVENGATE situation has to be fully exposed. It's up to you, the public who are watching this, to actually expose it. This is a report, SEVENGATE report, for the public who needs to be aware who is behind the London bombings. Okay, I'm inside Genesis building. You can see on their screen, this is the screen where they basically do their advertising inside their foyer. They have this thing, Health and Safety Week. Look at this. Health and Safety Week. But when I come into here, nobody wants to speak to me in regards to the scaffolding that's been left onto the building that where my flat is. And obviously we now have some strange device looking like it's to access our flats. Just look at this. It says, don't walk by, speak up. Yeah? Yet still they don't want to do anything about people in situations where their lives are endangered. This is the kind of hypocrisy that we're dealing with. This is the record of going to the Metropolitan Police about it. I was told by Genesis the last time I came in here to go to the police. So I've been to the police. You can see this is the Met Police's receipt for my coming in. This is the officer that I spoke to. That's the date I went to the police. And still nothing. Not one person has contacted me or anybody in the building in regards to why there is scaffolding on our building and why there's no works being done, why nobody's being contacted. So I want to hear what this guy has to say this time, because this is they're not taking us seriously. Obviously they're taking us for fools and they think they can just do what they want. So I'm creating a record, because if anything happens to anybody inside that building, there is a record that this company, who profess to be concerned about health and safety, don't give a damn about their residents. This is what I want to express. So let's see what happens. Are you from Genesis?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So
now, are you prepared to go on record?
No, I'm not prepared for you to cut me now. No.
Okay, you're not prepared to talk to me about what's happening in our building.
I'm prepared to talk to you, but I'm not allowing you to
record you. Okay, can you just speak your name for the record?
I just said I'm not allowing you to record, so why would I do that?
Okay. Oh.
The criminal justice system of Britain is infiltrated by organised crime gangs. British paper The Independent says a secret Scotland Yard report found that men suspected of being Britain's most notorious criminals bought off jurors or threatened them to return verdicts. The report also uncovered that dozens of corrupt police officers intimidated witnesses, slept with criminals, and were bribed to destroy evidence.
The British Foreign Office, I became a British ambassador. I was a British diplomat for 20 years. I was always very patriotic to be British. I was very, very proud. I remember when I first became a British ambassador and first went out in my own flag car with the Union Jack flying on the front as the ambassador, you know, I had a lump in my throat. It was a proud moment for me. It was only 6 months after that I discovered that in the country where I was ambassador, we and the Americans were shipping people in order for them to be tortured. And some of them were tortured to death. Now, as you may imagine, my worldview changed. It was at the same time, about a month later, we invaded Iraq against the will of the Security Council. Not just without permission of the Security Council, but in the full knowledge that if it had gone to the Security Council, we would have been voted down. And I, as a British diplomat, saw all the internal memos that went through that decision. I know for certain, I used to be head of the FCO unit that monitored Iraqi weapons of mass destruction. And I know for certain, I can tell you, that they knew there weren't any. It wasn't a mistake, it was a lie. I think it is impossible to be proud of the United Kingdom.
And corrupt. What you're seeing here is the actual wanted poster for the criminals who are behind SEVENGATE, as it says, the SEVENGATE criminals wanted for crimes against humanity. These are the evil, sick, twisted people behind the targeting operation. 13 years now, targeting operation against me, against other innocent people. I want you to see their faces and I want you to know their names. Okay, so Helen Alexander, as I explained, she changed her identity, gave herself a whole new identity in order to avoid going to prison after I won the case. I should say after I won the civil case, because the criminal trial was supposed to begin in 2007. Whereby she would have gone to prison for industrial espionage, corruption, racketeering, 7/7 bombings, orchestrating the 7/7 bombings, all sorts of crimes, targeting, torture, all sorts of crimes. Look at this woman's face. You can see how evil she is. Take a good look at this woman who is a Bilderberg. Okay, look her up. She's part apparently of a Nightingale Lodge. She changed her identity. She removed that she used to work for the BBC. She removed that she was part of a lawsuit where she was found guilty. My case was called 7 versus Gossage and 9 others. So she's part of the 9 others that make up the SEVENGATE criminals, as it says here. And she's removed that she works for Scottish media groups. She went into basically a completely different role, working with behind the scenes in large-scale racketeering, industrial espionage operations to steal from me and countless other people, target, torture. This woman is satanic beyond belief. She's a known Bilderberg, and she's a wicked person she should be hanged. She should be hanged by a noose until she is dead. That's what she should be, and I'm living for the day for that to happen. Okay? She should be executed, publicly executed, for what she has done to innocent people, along with all these other people. Jim Manson, he again works with this woman behind the scenes. This is the actual woman who stole my documents in 2003. I was set up by my lawyers to attend a meeting with her while she was working for Scottish media groups. This man here, Richard Hanna, set up the meeting. This woman here showed up to the meeting in Feltham Studios. It was called Feltham NTL Studios, which is now Virgin Media. That is a corrupt company that should be shut down. It should be shut down overnight for the crimes that they've perpetrated against innocent people. These people are terrorists. They are terrorists of the highest order. Okay, so this man, James Manson here, okay, he works again with this woman. They were working together in Scottish media groups. But she's gone basically undercover using a different identity. She's given herself a different middle name. She changed her middle name from Mary to Anne. So Helen Ann Alexander. She was the head of Women's Hour in BBC. But instead now she pretends that she is in intelligence, and she's with a company, I think it's UMB or something like that. I'll put it up on the screen anyway. And so this psychopath here, Richard Hanna, was the one that set up the meeting. He literally hounded me, this man. He hounded me to attend a meeting with this woman and this guy here. He literally kept following up with calls after calls after calls after calls for me to attend this meeting. And the meeting was set up specifically for them to steal my documents, which they did in 2003. And my work was sold in over 126 countries, and sold all over the world. And then they set up this whole targeting operation, which I've been exposing to you in this report, so that you could have a first-hand insight into the type of things that these people do, because they do it remotely. They're part of a telecommunications company, a massive, one of the largest in the world. They're connected to GCHQ, NSA, all of these organizations that are doing surveillance. They are being used for not only industrial scale espionage for these corrupt corporations, but also for first-hand terrorism. So what we're looking at, these are terrorists. These are what the modern terrorists look like. They don't look like Muslims. They don't look like, guys in hoodies. When I issued proceedings against her, she instigated to try to have me killed, so that people would not know that my work, which many of you now know and see on the screens, Dancing with Stars, Strictly Come Dancing, You Are What You Eat, 10 years younger. This woman basically instigated a whole witch hunt to stop me letting people know what she was doing. This woman has engaged in 13 years of black ops and racketeering on a massive scale, false flag terrorism, orchestrating false flag terrorism operations such as 7/7, and she's a Bilderberg, she's connected to the Rothschilds and all those other corrupt organizations. This is the woman behind it. This is what you call the living Jezebel spirit. This woman is demonic. You can see it. Just look at her. This woman has infiltrated my life. I mean, I've done nothing to her whatsoever. She just wants what I have because she's envious and she's jealous and she's wicked and she's evil, and she thinks that she can ride off my back to make herself wealthy and put in privileged positions so that she can take over the world. That's her mission, is literally to behind the scenes take over the world. These are the people behind ISIS and all these organizations. It's these people here. Don't worry what anybody tells you. I'm telling you the truth. You need to look into who these people are and what these people are up to. We need hackers hacking these people. Look them up, hack them. Then you will see these are the criminals who are behind false flag terrorism operations, wars around the world, pitting one person against each other, enslaving innocent people. People are being enslaved by these people right now. Brothers and sisters out there are being enslaved by these people behind the scenes. These are wicked devils like you can't believe. You need to look at their faces, research their names. Don't just look at the surface, because they'll just put out there what they want people to know. The biog that this woman has out about herself is fraud. She has been knighted falsely. She's been knighted a dame. She's been made a dame. The ceremony was on BBC, of course, because BBC is a satanic organization to the highest. Anybody who knows what's really going on will tell you that BBC is a satanic organization, and it is an evil beyond words organization. This woman is a former BBC staff. She moved to Scottish media groups. When I sued her, and go and look up this woman, and you will see that there nowhere does it say that she used to work for BBC and Scottish media groups, and that she was part of the largest ever organised IP crime case on public record, which I won. Nowhere in her biog will you see that, even though it's a fact. What she's done is she's given herself a whole new identity, a whole new fabricated past, a whole new career history. And she's moved into the intelligence services. She's moved into senior positions where she's running these criminal operations. She's running it with this man and this man here, these two men. Tamsin Allen. This is another witch who I went to this law firm, which is called Byman and Partners, and I had an interview with this woman. This woman stole a disc that I had in my possession during the meeting, and she gave it to these people to racketeer with, and then she joined the operation against me, which was to steal anything that I do. Now, I've already shown you that there's 705 attacks, hacking in my computer. It's these people. It's these people. Obviously, they're not doing the hacking themselves. They hire everybody to do their dirty work. They hire people to track us, to smear my name on the internet and tell lies about me, putting my name in all kind of bullshit. They hire people like this guy here. This guy is what you call a shill troll. He is an agent. He's hired to character assassinate genuine people like myself. People who these people owe money. Now, these people owe me billions. If they were honest, they would tell you themselves. They owe me billions. Billions and trillions. This is what they owe me. They know this. And if they were honest, they would tell you themselves. And I will put up the documents to show you that I won,
the largest ever organised crime case. I will also post the courtroom audios at the bottom of this video so that you can see it for yourself. Now, this man here, Jeffrey Beinman, these work for a criminal firm. When I say criminal firm, I don't mean that they do criminal cases. I mean that these are criminals. They are criminals. These are what you call white-collar criminals. These are the modern-day terrorists. It's not Muslims shouting Allah Akbar. It's these people. Okay? So, you need to see their faces, see their names. This was the barrister that changed the courtroom audios. This is another lawyer that got in on the scam to steal more of my documents. This is a judge who made an order so that nobody would hear the courtroom audios that prove that I won my case. He actually was the lawyer of General Pinochet, the dictator, the Chilean dictator. This is another judge who tried to remove my case illegally to stop people realizing that all this stuff was going on. This is another lawyer, Charles Russell. His face is not here, but this is another law firm. And I'm putting this out there firstly for you to be aware of who is behind 7/7, so that you can see the faces. It's not Muslims shouting Allah Akbar. These are behind ISIS. These are the ones funding young Islamic people or innocent young men and women to go and do wickedness to their brothers and sisters. These are the architects of evil. These, as God made Moses, may I be struck down if I tell any lie on this camera against anybody and bear false witness against anybody. I would never do that. I'm putting the truth out there because it needs to be heard. People's lives are in danger.
Okay, one of the directors that I want to now direct the world's attention to at Rolls-Royce is Dame Helen Alexander. She has 3 directorships, and one of them is relatively innocent. It's at a girls' school, St Paul's Girls' School in London. They've got relatively small amounts at the bank, but you should see how much Helen Alexander has got at the bank. When you look at the total amount, it's at any given time, it's over 13 billion is in her portfolio of business. Now this is a university leader that is now taking a fee of £9,000 a year to get the education that she got for free. I want to explain to you her directorships and her links to Rupert Murdoch, to Rebecca Brooks, to Sir somebody English. I forget his first name, but what you're hearing from the man that makes the jokes at the wardens' expense, Rowan Atkinson, is a cover-up for the fact that she is a director at Rolls-Royce, and she is also a director in overlapping companies with Sir somebody English. I'll read it out from the list of these frauds. And they're not frauds, they're legitimate non-executive directorships, but nobody but you and I at this stage know that she has 30 or 40, and that she's a billionaire when the students are cast into a life in debt. They can never have a mortgage. When they come out with their honours degree, they're £50,000 in debt. You cannot have a mortgage if your life is lived in a debt pool. Okay, so I'm now going to go into my files and tell you about her directorships. So she's got the one with the St Paul's Girls' School, relatively innocent. She's got the one that I've labelled as the Rolls-Royce listing, and I'm going to go there first. Okay, and I'm just going to read off the companies that she's a director for. Rolls-Royce Group PLC, British Telecommunication Files, and tell you about her directorships. So she's got the one with the St Paul's Girls' School, relatively innocent. She's got the one that I've labelled as the Rolls-Royce listing, and I'm going to go there first. Okay, and I'm just going to read off the companies that she's a director for. Rolls-Royce Group PLC, Rolls-Royce Group PLC, British Telecommunications Public Limited, that's BT, one of the many subsidiaries of BT, ILW Company Limited, Terrace Production Limited, EIU Orc Ventures Limited, The Economist Editorial Overseas Company Limited, The Economist Books Limited, Dartford Printing Limited, Ryder Street Properties Limited, Economist Publications Limited, The Company Limited, Terrace Production Limited, EIU Orc Ventures Limited, The Economist Editorial Overseas Company Limited, The Economist Books Limited, Dartford Printing Limited, Ryder Street Properties Limited, Economist Publications Limited, so that's a shelf, that's a Ponzi, The Economist Group Limited, The Economist Overseas Holdings Limited. Yeah, there's one magazine, there's dozens and dozens of profiteering boards. Ryder Street Properties Management Limited, 30 Club of London Limited, in brackets, The Economist Intelligence Unit Limited, which may be the reason why we got shut down in the earlier video. Eurofinance Conference is Limited, St Paul's Girls' School, wait for the next one, it impacts on every household in Britain, Centrica PLC. Also on the board, John Major, 20% price hikes, year on year, 5 years back to back. Yeah, this is a university Vice Chancellor. Tate Enterprises Limited, that's the art sector. Audit, you know, the Tate Museum and the Lobster Telephone and all those things. Audit Bureau of Circulations Limited, Professional Publishers Association, that will become very relevant later on in the video. Who's your woman? Yeah, but the publishing emphasis will go into the Murdoch Group, Eshore Group PLC, St Paul's Girls' School again. Why would they need another register? Maybe that's why they don't have very much money at the bank. Writers and Scholars International Limited. Oh, and another subsidiary of BT, BT Group PLC, Rolls-Royce PLC, yeah, Northern Foods Limited, The Economist Group Trustee Company Limited, Economist Newspaper Limited, The Tate Foundation PA Group Limited.
And she gets a salary from each of these?
Yeah, our salary at Southampton, you'll be able to find that on Wikipedia, it's somewhere between 250,000 for our day job, and 400,000, which is what the Oxford guy gets. And you know who the Oxford guy is by now?
Bullyman boy.
It's Lord Patton, the former profiteering Vice Chancellors in what they call the Russell Group. That's the top 20 or so universities in the UK. All of them are tied into Harvard and Georgetown and the elite universities all around the world. And I left the best university in New Zealand in 2009, and it is not anywhere near this league of big time players who are actually mafias. Let me read down the list that she's on with his nibs. Okay, and you start seeing previous directors and secretaries. I had highlighted this earlier. Oh, here we are. So James Rupert Murdoch was on this list up to 2010. Can you think of a reason why he might drop out in 2010 when the new government was elected and in the lead up to the Leveson inquiry? Can you think of the reasons that Rebecca Brooks has been in the news? Up to 2010, she was working for Rupert Murdoch, Mr. James Rupert Murdoch. He's got 65 companies on this list, and that is the resigned companies. So he crashes 65 of a total of the 76 companies that he's owned. And you've heard from Gordon and me what the implications of that is, that suddenly the money's out of the UK business directory and those corporate shelves, and somewhere into Panama or the Caymans or any of the land-bound tax havens in America, like Delaware or Florida or Monterey in Mexico. It could be anywhere now. Yeah, but that's the famous Murdoch, and when you scan further down the listing, you find, and this sort of surprised me a bit, because I don't believe that this will be the celebrity, but there's a Mr. Paul Potts. Can you remember how Paul Potts came to fame?
This is the
Yeah, the man who sang Nessun Dorma on the celebrity programme at 6 o'clock on a Saturday evening. I forget what you call it.
Oh, I don't have a TV, George.
Well, the man who led that is now one of the leading celebrities, and he does most of his telecasting now in America. But he sat in judgment on people that were aspiring to become celebrities, and Paul Potts sang Nessun Dorma on that and absolutely wowed them. Now, I don't believe that this will be the Paul Potts that is the director of 13 companies, all of which have been crashed, but all of the lists of names, and there are dozens of names on this list, almost all of them have got over 15 to 20 or 30 or 40. A lot of them have got 50 to 60 companies, and a lot of those companies have been crashed, because we're talking about the period that spans 2008, and Murdoch bailed out so that he could plead blameless when he was interviewed on the Leveson Review, and have explained the Leveson governance and the links of Leveson to the Dukes of Sutherland, who sent Rupert Murdoch's relatives to the colonies as poor people for stealing bread, and allowed the CIA to bring him back into Britain to dismember our print runs in the media sector, and then allowed him to be a world leader out of America on the Fox News empire and the News Corp empire that they traded in Britain. Okay, I'll just scan a little bit further down the list. So we've got Paul Potts, a celebrity, who's probably been picked as the winner of that celebrity contest just because his name's Paul Potts, like the director on Murdoch's companies. Then you find between 2010 and 2011, when they got heat from investigative journalists like you and me, and they even got heat from the British press, you find Miss Rebecca, with a K and an H on the end, Mary Brooks, Rebecca Brooks. She's only got 24 of the 25 companies registered with this company, on this list. And then you find just a couple of entries below, Sir David English. What was the man that Rowan Atkinson was talking about? The spy that he pretends to be in his films?
Johnny English.
Johnny English. Can you see why they chose the name Johnny English and why they chose the name Paul Potts?
Well, they always, it's hiding in plain sight.
Just a simple obfuscation tool.
Yep.
So Sir David English was a director at this company between 1997 and 1998. Then you see links to Browns, and they've had a diminishing number of employees since 2008 when they had 1,524, and now the number of employees in 2012 was down to 1,220. And yet what I was going to show you is the links to Reuters, but I can't find that now.
It all links back to Reuters.
Well, no, there's an there's an explicit holding for. I thought it was for Helen Alexander, but I'm going to have to make an entry in the text that accompanies the video to show how they're linked into Reuters. It was completely unambiguous. Goodbye, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean. could have been, so what I did before was to open up Murdoch's listings, and I'll do that again now. So I'm going to click on Murdoch's name and try and find the listing, because it's very unusual to find Rupert, because he's in America. It's very unusual to find him on the British Business Directory now, and it's taken a long time to open, but here we go. No. It's not, oh yeah, it is going to open. Okay, so I'm into, now, James Rupert Murdoch is registered as a director under number 909805419. His registered address, and it sounds really glamorous, 21st Century Fox, Inc., HQ 1211. Is that Freemasonic or is that Freemasonic? Avenue of New York 10036, United States. Okay? Let me read the list of companies that he's got. I mean, it will take me ages to do it, but do you want me to do that? NDS Group Limited, Sky Holdings Limited, B Sky B Finance UK PLC, registered in the States in New York. B Sky B Guarantee Investments Limited. And I believe the B on the front of that stands for, what does it stand for, John? British. B Sky B?
Yeah, sure.
Sky Network Services, Sky Digital Supplies Limited, B Sky B Telecommunications Limited, Picnic Limited, Sky New Media Ventures Limited, B Sky B LLU Assets Limited, Sky Ventures Limited, B Sky B Comedy Limited, B Sky B Publications Limited, B Sky B History Limited. A little bit of a change, quite close to you maybe. The Surrey Golf Company Limited, News Optimus Limited, B Sky B Finance Limited, British Sky Broadcasting Limited, Kids Prog Limited, Sky Subscriber Services Limited, Sky In-Home Service Limited, Amstrad Limited, Sky Television Limited, SATV Publishing Limited. Then wait for this one, it's in mass sector. GlaxoSmithKline PLC. You remember I talked about my old boss at Welcome?
Yeah.
That's who took us over. He's now on the Forbes rich list. Rupert Murdoch's on the board. I didn't know that till today. British Sky Broadcasting Group PLC, Newsprinters Group Limited, News Group Newspapers Limited, News Corp Investments UK and Ireland, News Corp Holdings UK and Ireland, Newsprinters Assets Limited, Times Newspapers Limited, News Corp UK and Ireland Limited, Times Newspapers Holdings Limited, the Cricketer Publishing Group, the Cricketer Publishing Limited, PA Group Limited. Now I could have sworn that earlier this evening I had the link to Reuters, but I cannot find it now, and it may have been through Rebecca, but I think there is. I will find it by tomorrow morning and we can add it to the text in these videos. But you understand the you know that the Rothschilds own, oh, maybe it's on his directors. Let's have a look. So that's his list of companies, but let's see who the directors are. My computer's very slow. Yeah, it's going to take an age. Do you want to stop there? I mean, so basically I would just like to say a little bit more. So the woman that's involved in running the British University at Southampton, she's got all of those non-executive directorships. She's got links into Murdoch's empire. She's got links into Girls' School and the governance of that, relatively innocent. But I want you to know that every academic, now they're beginning to sack academics in places like Dundee, top 200 universities in the world, and what happens to those guys is that they've got research professors that've done decades of service with the same university, and they're being thrown out onto the streets, made redundant, but with no redundancy pay or remuneration in any form. 110 of them at Dundee just about a month ago. And so the purges are on the people that are involved in the institutions, that deliver the quality service, that make these people legends globally for the institutional profile. But little do they know that every one of the VCs in that network of about 20 leading universities across the UK are earning all of these non-executive directors' incomes. Miss Manningham Buller at Imperial, she was a director for a long time at Marks and Spencer's. You know her role in the intel sector. But what is happening now to the academics in those universities is that they get virtually no research funds by entitlement. They have to scratch and scrape and, like us, make videos or write grant applications in the late night period on a Sunday evening. Yeah, and they're working like slaves. Now when they publish their objective research data like we're doing here in this amateur video, they have to pay page charges to the editorial and publishing industry. And we've just explained that most of that, almost all of it, is owned by Rupert Murdoch, but with joint ownership in the form of Dame Helen Alexander. Yeah, and we are not, unless we pay, we cannot know what she earns from Rolls-Royce, from British Telecom, and from all that long list of publishing firms that she was involved in running. But when the academics now release a very well-researched paper in the science sector, for example, we talked about the oil and gas scams the other day. If you were to republish that thing that the Russians discovered in the 1950s about the renewable oil, you would have to shell out £3,000 for every little PDF that you publish, and the profits are going to the Vice-Chancellor in gowns, and everybody looks really civilised and innocent. But when they hear the contents of this video, then they're going to ask a few questions of Dame Helen, and I know that she's involved in NHS quangos, but I cannot find them on the directory. I've heard about that on Radio 4, and they're not a very reliable source, as you now know, but when you hear it, it tends to be the truth. So I will track her down in our NHS profiteering at a later stage. Everything else I've got in hard copy, and we've got the files and the documents and the archives. Okay, so and here we go. So the title for the YouTube video is Installation of the Chancellor Dame Helen Alexander, DBE, University of Southampton. And you can sign off there, John. Yeah, okay.
Relatively rare occasion for the university community. Only our 7th Chancellor in our 60-year history. Our researchers are helping to provide energy security for the future. Scientists are discovering new species of marine life in uncharted waters. Fascination for the countryside and its different landscapes which we've had since childhood. In 1984 she moved from London to Fontainebleau near Paris, to study for an MBA at INSEAD, one of Europe's top business schools. After her MBA, Helen returned to The Economist, where she would stay for the next 3 years, including the last 11 as chief executive. In her time as CEO, Helen expanded and internationalized The Economist from its flagship magazine to a broader empire.
And all of the Ponzi shells.
Almost doubling the circulation of The Economist magazine to 1.4 million, along with setting up offices across America and Asia. In 2003, she became a trustee of the... She says...
So, a billionaire, and I don't know whether or not she's allowed to declare her income, but knowing what we know about Rebecca Brooks and Rupert Murdoch, I doubt that very much tax is paid. And when you see what is happening to those academics, how hard they work to bring in the money that they bring in, if she were to share some of her non-executive tax-free income with the researchers, then everybody could have a life. We'll sign off there, and I want you to appreciate the magnitude of the cynicism from the BBC and its comedians about the sacrifice of the war dead and their ownership or aspirations to have a Rolls Royce. They might get a little discount from Helen Alexander, and there's no mention in the inauguration speech about her interests at Rolls Royce in the munitions sector and the munitions profiteering that Gordon Bowden and Professor George Lees talk about on a daily basis. Bye bye.
Fortunes are being accumulated in the UK on a scale we haven't seen for 100 years. We've been told that the way the super rich create wealth makes all of us, well, a bit better off. But does it? This time around, they've used new and different financial techniques to enrich themselves. And right now, they're the big winners, and we seem to be the losers. I'm going to tell you how the new super rich are making their fortunes and why we're picking up the bill in a global greed game. In the past few years, the City of London, financial services, have contributed 1/3 of all our economic growth. London is the capital of capital.
London, for the international community, is a beautiful city. A lot of people are living in London that they might find interesting to meet. It's got the restaurants, it's got the clubs, it's got the bars, it's got the decent hotels, it's got the nice houses. It's safe, it's secure. There's a lot going for it.
More than 50 billionaires call Britain home. Not since the 19th century have there been such opportunities for so many to make quite so much money. At least 30,000 Brits now earn more than £500,000 a year. In 2006, 4,200 city executives took a bonus of £1 million or more. And among hedge funds alone, 150 people have been earning more than £20 million a year.
The only other period we have seen similar accumulation was during the Industrial Revolution in the Victorian age, when the whole raft of Victorian industrialists made massive fortunes very quickly, but even that was over a period of 40 or 50 years. This has been in the last 10 years. When you're coming here with several £billion, you travel around in armoured limos guarded by people who look after you. The idea of the congestion charge is wonderful to you because it clears the roads of the riffraff. You can
From April, local police forces will no longer accept reports of financial fraud from the public as a new system of dealing with the crime is rolled out across the UK.
Yes, people will be told to call a national agency called Action Fraud.
It's usually brushed aside as conspiracy theory, and there are some outlandish allegations out there, but every now and then you get something more solid about how the Freemasons operate in Britain. The information in question relates to a 2002 secret Metropolitan Police report called Operation Tiberius that's been leaked to the press. It found that a secret network of Freemasons inside the police have been used by organised crime gangs to corrupt the criminal justice system. This is the second secret police report to be leaked in the last 6 months. Project Riverside, another report from 2008, came to the same conclusion. Former Scotland Yard detective Charles Shoebridge is not a Freemason, but he says he's not surprised at the reports.
For anybody who's served in the police service anywhere, probably in the United Kingdom, it's no surprise to learn that there are a considerable number of people who are members of the police service and indeed of other members of society, such as, for example, judiciary, government and others in positions of influence and power, who also are members of different Freemasonry organisations and indeed some other secret societies.
The criminal justice system has long been suspected of having Freemason members. In 1998, there was enough concern for then Home Secretary Jack Straw to order all police officers and judges to declare their membership. 10 of Britain's 43 police forces refused to take part, and the policy was dropped under threat of legal action.
The fact that their affiliation is kept secret, there's no list published, for example, by the police that identifies people who are also members of other organisations, means that any attempts by the police, if you like, to be accountable, to be open and transparent about their loyalties, about what their members are actually doing and what their interests might be, is actually undermined.
Experts say that the Freemasons have lost influence in the last 2 or 3 decades, but they still have people in positions of power and influence. Just how much power and influence is hard to know, given its secret nature. Nagas Mobalari, Press TV, London.
This is my cousin Ron. He's written something out in relation to what Mark Windows has been, the lies Mark Windows has been spreading all over the internet. He usurped David Icke's TV channel, and my cousin was with me when we met him for the first time with Tony Farrell, and he's written something out and he just wants to read it to let the people know what the real deal is. You want to read this, Ronnie?
Ready. I am a key witness to I am a key witness. My name is Ronnie Nicholas. I am Seven's cousin. I'm very horrified to see on the People's Voice that David Icke's TV channel online. I'm devastated by what lies Mark Windows have said about my cousin Seven. It is very obvious that Mark Windows is paid to cover up the colossal amount of money my cousin made. They used my cousin Seven as a golden goose. Her intellectual copyright. They have paid my cousin Seven for 11 years with death threats, 24-hour surveillance, white vans outside her home. Her home was burgled, gang stalked. It has been reported to the police over 65 times. And nothing was ever done about that. I was the one that got Seven out of hiding in 205 to Notting Hill police station near midnight. They wanted to murder my cousin for her money. Which is the truth? What I'm saying. Which is the truth what I'm saying? My cousin Seven has worked very hard since the early 80s. Music and entertainment industry, in TV, film. She must be paid for her great work all over the world. She must be credited for her work, paid in full on interest. She's an intelligent, Moors, black woman. Please know it. Slavery is over. They all need to be arrested and put in prison. All Seven's mass wealth should be returned to the rightful owner. God's not sleeping. Power over evil. My cousin is an intelligent, gifted black woman and talented. Please. On the matter on Mark Windows, who say that Seven on the Vogue book, look at page 40, 1986, about health and beauty.
Yeah, this is the Vogue.
Please, This is.
Let me hold it up. Let's hold it up so that the people can see.
Okay, let's
because
get on
they
the
said
page 40. Everything is dropping there. This is my cousin there, page 40, Vogue, published in 1986. So how can she do paste and make, as he said, which is lies? Photoshopped, which is lie. This is it. It was issued in Vogue of my cousin there in Health and Beauty in 1986. Have a good look at it because it's covering it.
I basically had black skin. This is me. This is me.
Health and Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that one there. So
there's another one as well.
Yeah, bring it on.
This is another one.
This is my cousin in what's this magazine? Don't Tell It, and this one Don't Tell It, and this was July 1995. And there's a thing about my cousin there with another black guy. Nubian facts played by out. About how many black queens have ruled England, etc. This is page 67, and as I said earlier on, it was printed in 1995.
Let's just take a picture.
Issue 7. Issue 7.
Yes, it's actually
issue 7. And let's see when this Vogue was issued as well.
It's at the back. Actually.
At the back.
It might be.
Get it at the back.
Let me just see on the inside.
Okay. Don't want to tear it. You just stick it.
Turn around. Sorry, that should say 1986 somewhere. Anyway, you can actually Google it.
Well, you can Google it.
It is 1986.
It's 1986.
Yeah, it was their first health and beauty book.
Yes.
So it shows that my
background... Proof is there. The proof is there. What Mark Windows said is a lie. And by the way, the first time that I met him, he said to me that he believed everything that what Seven said was the truth. He said he was also robbed of his intellectual property by himself. He said he was doing filming for some people at the time. I forgot what company it was at the time. I was there in the room. There was also a woman there in the room. I wrote it down. What's her name again? Where's the sheets? Because I don't know these people, right? I'll tell you who was in the room at the time. It was Belinda what's her name? Mackenzie was there. Tony Farrell, Johnny Jackson, Seven, Ronnie Nicholas, myself, was in Belinda's house in Highgate, and the date was Friday, July the 6th, 2012.
Yes.
And Mark Windows, obviously. I am devastated, very, very devastated and sad, and I can't believe it, seeing on the online that he's lied about my cousin. He was crying in the room. And also the policeman named Tony something was crying. Also that Belinda woman had tears in their eye. They couldn't believe how badly treated she was and paid with death threats. And he turned around, I repeat, and said that he believes every word that my cousin is saying. That is not fabricated and it's not lies. And there's only one more because I had to write this down. Please look online on the FarrowReport.net. I want justice for my cousin Seven. Done.
Yeah.
Over now.
Thank you, Rob.
This is also from the High Court, and it is issued the 16th of December 2014. This is my witness statement. Ronnie Nicholas, first witness statement of Ronnie Nicholas. Please go online, as I mentioned earlier on. What was it?
It's the Farrow Report.
Farrow Report, and it was issued at the High Court of Justice Division, and the case number's on there. If you want the case number, and I can read the case number. Case number HC04CO42565.
Okay, hold it up so that I can film it, Ron. Thank you.
There's my witness statement. And my cousin did win her case in court, by the way. There's it there. Is it showing, Seven?
Yes.
And it's showing there?
Yes.
Please go online and see, because everything there is true. And also, there's been many black people who's had intellectual copyright, like the woman from The Matrix, the black guys from the Fremonties. Their intellectual copyright was stolen. My cousin was stolen, as I said earlier on, sold all around the world. The Stephen Lawrence report will do it. The injustice they've done to my black people. It has to stop.
It's the same kind of
corruption,
isn't
it?
The same surveillance. And Mark Windows is the same type of spy.
Mark Windows is the same kind of spy. By the way, Mark Windows, when I first met him, smelled of shit. When I first met him, I did mention that to my cousin.
Yes.
Not to disrespect him, but I did smell it. Even the woman of the house smelled it. So this is what's happening with our black people. Enough's enough.
God
bless the late Stephen Lawrence, that he had to die for this cause. You know, with the injustice of 21 years of injustice going on with black people. Enough's enough. It has to stop. And this is what's going on here right now. This was issued. This is the Daily Mail. This was Friday, March the 7th, 2014, lies, spies, cover-ups, corruption, sickening extent of Stephen's betrayal by the police is exposed.
And it's exactly what they've done.
And
to
exactly
me.
what they've done to my cousin Seven. Over and out.
And is this what Mark Windows is getting paid to do?
Well, it's obviously that he's paid.
I want to make an emphasis here that if a courtroom audio does not match the judgment, there is corruption. The judgment is generated strictly from the audios and from the stenographer. That's where you get the determination of what actually transpired within the courtroom. For any judgment to say something completely completely opposite of what is on the audios, you know that there's some corruption involved. And in my case, as you will notice, there's a great deal of corruption involved in the case. We're actually out here on the 7th, it's the 8th anniversary of the 7/7 bombings from 2005, and we're here to give our respects. And from my point, really, I feel a sense of duty and responsibility to the public, to the members of the families, to myself, my own family, and to God as well, you know, to make the truth of what actually happened and my part of the truth be known. It's a big monster, and there's so many different fractions of that monster. But my aspect, what happened to me, holds a crucial part of telling the story, which hasn't really been told, of what was also going on behind the scenes, which will help people put the whole thing together and unearth what is a Pandora's box of vipers and, you know, vile corruption. So I'm just out here today. We're basically giving a testimony, or a tribute, more of a tribute in relation to that. So we're going to hear the horns blown, the 7 horns, and I want everybody to take those horns seriously, because it's a warning. It's a warning. We're coming here today in the name of God, and we're basically warning these people. And I want the people to know who these people are. Helen Alexander, Tamsin Allen, Jeffrey Beinman, Beinman's and Partners law firm, Russell's law firm. There's Derek Rosenblatt of Ronald Fletcher and Co. There is NTL, which became Virgin Media. We've got Scottish TV. All of these people are all involved, and there's a whole, they just make up a part of what is a massive criminal network and crime ring. It's very satanic, it's very nasty, and these people are responsible for crimes against humanity. Besides what happened, the theft of my work and how it all morphed, that's one aspect of it. But what actually transpired is a crime against humanity, which must be brought to light. It must be resolved. We must get closure. Those who perpetrated these things, they must get closure, because they know what they've done. They live with themselves on a daily basis. You know, they basically, you know, I don't know how these people sleep at night. I ask myself, how do they sleep at night? What they do is just they harm people, kill people, do anything but face up to what they've done. And it can't carry on anymore. It can't be done anymore. We want closure. We want justice for every single person who's been afflicted. That includes myself, but it's not only myself. And I stress that. And for those people who are going around being paid, this is a message to the people that go around trying to pretend that none of this is true. I say to you, how do you live with yourself? You're defending criminals and allowing members of the public who are being abused to be lied about, and actually the crimes against us to be covered up. How do you live with yourself? You don't silence the truth, you only make it louder. And so I ask every member of the public that's watching this, please, if you know something about any of this, if you yourself have a portion of this story, bring it out to the surface. Let people know what happened. That's what we ask of you. This place is corrupt. It needs to come down. Every single person, judge, whoever they call them, these self-appointed judges, they need to be removed from this place. And I don't say that lightly. So I want to see that the horns are blown, the trumpets, the 7 trumpets, and I'm here to make sure that the 7 trumpets are blown outside of this place, because we want to bring to light what is going on in these corrupt institutions. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Blow the horns now.
Okay, so there you saw what has happened to us and why we haven't been able to put the show out before. But bear with us. Please help to get this show out viral. Let people know what's going on. I believe it's what's happened to the artist Prince, but we're going to get into Prince a bit later. I'm a musician, a guitarist, as some people know out there. And so the impact of his death certainly, definitely affected me. It affected you as well.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because you met him, didn't you?
People, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
Although I met him and I didn't meet him.
Yeah.
Crazy move.
Yeah. Well, you were in the same place as him.
Yeah, I was a couple of feet away from him.
Yeah.
For some reason I kept on walking. I was like, I didn't expect him to be there because I turned around and he was sitting there and I was like, oh no. And great genius brother we lost.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I want to get into the whole subject of Prince, but just from a different context, as somebody who's a targeted individual for organised IP crime, and that have been now for the last 13 years. I think my perspective is going to be different from most people that are talking about what happened to him. And it's really designed to really get people to start thinking about, what do we do about this? This is a situation that affects anybody who is creative right now. If you are a copyright owner, you are in danger. If you don't believe that, you need to look at my case. I really urge you to look at what's happened to me. I'm speaking from first-hand experience. Somebody who's gone through the whole judicial system, and I'm still being targeted. After winning a case in court, I won the largest ever intellectual property case of organised crime and targeting, gangstalking, all that kind of thing. And still, many years later, it's still happening. So we have a crisis on our hands, and so I want to get into that a little bit later. But first,